election playfield. And we have in studio Team Acie Lumumba and Team Agency Gumbo. So it's hearts for Agency Gumbo. Press the heart button. And if you like Acie or whatever he says, press the like button. We want to see who is ahead in this debate. Now, Acie, you were just giving us a brief of what you think the overview is as of now with regards to the political players and what was happening today.
Yeah, so I was just explaining that today we saw the residual benefit or loss of what happened yesterday. So today was a lot about, did Chamisa benefit as a result of his press conference? Did Chamisa benefit as a result of going to Norton? Absolutely. Chamisa ararisa Temba muliswa mumagumbezi epa next door. Temba muliswa anakumborara zakanaka thanks to Chamisa. So I think Chamisa is got the feel-good factor. He's rallying Chitungwiza. I mean, he's really in his rhythm now. I still don't think his numbers are anywhere close to Emmerson Mnangagwa's numbers at rallies. I don't know about the elections, but at rallies. But I think he's smooth now. He was in Angola last night, I understand. I don't know how that went. But so I think Chamisa is in gear 5. On the other hand, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, he had just as busy a day. Sometimes I feel sorry for President Mnangagwa because his schedule is so demanding. Chamisa just has to worry about campaigning. President Mnangagwa has to worry about governing the country at the same time running his campaign. But he had a meeting today, I understand, with, he went to see the, there was a building burnt down in Mbari, one of the Mbari buildings burnt down. The president went to check that out. So I think he had a day out to see how people are really leaving, which is what I think he really needs to do every now and then.
I want to come back to the president today. We had heard reports that he was going to meet with the vendors.
Right.
What happened with that?
So I don't know what the official position is, but I also must put it on record that there was, in the president's official diary, this function actually wasn't there. I think what happened is the vendors were having their meeting anyway. So the meeting was not designed to be the president and the vendors. The vendors were having their meeting. The president was then invited to participate in a meeting that was already happening. And for whatever reason, I'm sure they would inform us, but it wasn't in his schedule. So he wasn't actually scheduled to go. Even though he was invited, he wasn't scheduled to go.
The Mbare meeting, well, the Mbare visit, do you think he won the hearts and minds of the people in Mbare? Were the optics good? Did they appreciate his sincerity?
So here's what I think he did. He was able to do. I think, I'm not sure if going there wins the hearts and minds of people. However, what I think he did achieve is to be able to get a few extra votes. So I do believe there might have been someone who had never met the president, might have completely not liked him, and because he went there, decided, I would like to give this guy a chance. Because sometimes that's all people want. People just want to see the candidate. Mbari is a very difficult constituency. You would know that since the year 2000 until now, between 2000 and 2013, that was an MDC constituency. ZANU-PF couldn't even enter there. 2013, ZANU-PF took it back with Tendai Savanu. But in the middle of the term, Tendai Savanu gets kicked out, and then we lose it all over again. So it's got a very huge base of MDC, and I think the timing of going there, I don't know if that necessarily does him well, but I'm glad he went, because if nothing else, at least he can solve the governmental problem that's happening in Mbari.
Okay, wonderful. As we progress, I want us to discuss the MDC Alliance President press conference yesterday. But before we get to that, Agency, what's your take on today's rallies? Nelson Chamisa's rally in Chitungwiza. And what's your take on the President, Emmerson Mnangagwa, his strategy today and his own schedule, what he did today?
Well, I'll first of all make some comments on the President's visit to Mbare, President Mnangagwa's visit to Mbare. First of all, it exposes him as a desperate candidate. And also it exposes him as being not in touch with reality. My heart goes out, don't quote me wrong, my heart goes out to the people that lost their homes to the fire disaster. But Mbare in itself, Mbare Matapi, it has been a disaster before the fire. The living conditions, basically the living conditions in Matapi area have been disturbing. If you are to walk into Matapi today, you'd realize that there is more to worry about in the Matapi area. There's more to worry about in Mbare than just the fire that happened a few days ago. So it's a political stunt, yes, but the people of Mbare will not be hoodwinked. The people of Mbare have complained about their living conditions for a very long time in the government that Emmerson Mnangagwa has been part of for a very long time. So, I see a lack of sincerity even in his visit. I see, a fishing expedition from his part. And, I really hope that the government that is coming in is going to give due attention to the people of Mbare, due attention to the living conditions of the people of Zimbabwe, not just in Mbare, but in the entire country. Now, there was another meeting. I don't know the version that AC is selling, that there was already, there was a planned meeting of the vendors. No. The president actually planned to meet with the vendors, not the other way around. And, the vendors are where they are today because of these guys. The vendors are where they are today because of ZANU-PF's shenanigans and their inability to properly capture, and restore the functionality in the country's economy. So these are people who are not interested, if you ask me. They are not interested, not at all. Hapana munhu ane degree aakunzi venda izvizvi nenyaya yekuti akashaya basa anoda kusangana nemunhu akamushayisa basa wacho. So the reason why the president did not turn up at that meeting is because the attendance was embarrassing. Embarrassing because the people decided to say, look, why should we come to the very propagator of the problems that we have to hear solutions from? We have someone who is going to give us solutions. Mavenda ose angari kuchitumbwiza. Mavenda ose angari kuteerera president Nelson Chamisa. Vamwe vanga pa live video vachitengesa madomasi avo, listening to the people's president give the vision of a smart city and a smart economy. President Nelson Chamisa was in Chitungwiza today. And, as always, people came out in their numbers. Chitungwiza yavara. It's only a couple of days until we have this guy in State House. So I say, President Nelson Chamisa carried the day today. He had a beautiful day in politics. And, Emmerson Mnangagwa, dololo.
Okay, hold up. So, I've got to put some things into perspective. You know why I like doing this with agency? Because agency is one of the greatest contradictors of self that I know. But he also, when he's right, agency is actually very right. So, the issue of the schedule or the president not being the schedule, that's indifferent. But what I do want to address is, let's assume the president was supposed to go there and there were no people. And the frustration of the people is because ZANU-PF caused the frustration that they have. Now, I'm not a propagandist. I agree that President Robert Mugabe's governance has ruined many lives. I don't disagree with that at all. I particularly agree that you have vendors who are graduates and that something is very wrong with that whole concept. I think most of them are entrepreneurs. I really don't like the term vendor because it makes them look very, perhaps it describes the level of desperation of people now are, but I think they're entrepreneurs who are finding a way to get by. I completely agree that the problem was caused, that ZANU-PF played its part in causing this problem. What must be put on record, however, is the president going there. He's only been president 9 months. The president going there is a sign that he wants to fix the problem. We can decide to have a conversation all night about who caused which problem. Just like you can have a conversation all night in your house about what caused the loss or gain of anything. Or you can focus your energies on figuring out how do you move forward. If the president was to go there, or if the president was going there, the only important thing on the president's mind is how do we fix the problem. Now I go back to the premise he gave on the Mbare situation. Now he says the people who live in Mbare live that way because of Emmerson Mnangagwa. This is not true. This is not true. You cannot accredit that all our lives in this room, sure, 16 million people. We cannot say 16 million people are all where they are right now because of a man who's been president for 9 months. Okay? Is the institutional backlog is to deal with? Yes. But understand the problems that are happening in Mbare are not particularly national government problems. They are local government problems. The Mbare councillors who are responsible for this report to an all or a majority MDC council. The living conditions in Mbare are not determined by national governance. They are determined by their own local government. It is the local government that should at least raise the issue. When they fail to raise the issue, they should at least, there is no record, absolutely no record in city council that says Mbare needs an emergency evacuation program for when crisis happens. There isn't one in city council. There is one in local government for how the whole city should be evacuated. When the investigation was happening today, when the investigation was happening on how did this fire happen, how should we have rapidly responded to this fire, not a single template exists from the city council. That's why when it happened, the city council didn't know what to do. MDC didn't know what to do. It took ZANU-PF coming to solve the problem that was created. First of all, the fire was not caused by ZANU-PF or MDC. The fire was caused by the people who caused the fire. But a problem that was created by bad governance of MDC. So to accredit all things wrong in the country to one Mnangagwa, I mean, this makes this one Mnangagwa so powerful that surely then if he's that powerful to destroy everything, he must be powerful enough to fix it.
Agency, I know you want to answer that, and I'll let you. But I want to just say to you, when we look at disasters all over the world, Hurricane Katrina, for instance, in the United States some time ago, President Obama went there. You said that there's really no value. I mean, he shouldn't have gone. Don't you think that as a leader, as the leader of the country, you should really go and see firsthand what has happened?
President Emerson Mnangagwa, Vice President as he then was, Minister of Justice as he then was, should have gone to Mbare when they needed the attention of the government the most. This is not when Mbare needs the attention of the government the most. Let's not fool ourselves to think that this is a disaster, a national disaster. It's not a national disaster. The national disaster, if we were to attach it to Mbare, is the living conditions of the people in Mbare. And this did not occur yesterday. This did not occur 3 weeks ago. This occurred since the ZANU-PF government failed to run the economy. The people who live in Mbare right now, if you are to ask them what their biggest worry is, Rudo, their biggest worry is not the fire that happened 2 days ago. Their biggest worry is the condition of their health. Their biggest worry, their biggest worry is inaccessibility of fresh, clean water. Their biggest worry is the living. 5 people, 5 families living in one small house because government has failed to provide for them an effective housing solution.
So let me ask
this is, wait, let me get to it. So the problem, if we are to insinuate that President Mnangagwa showed some form of sincerity by visiting the people of Mbare, we are fooling ourselves, and we are also, that type of thinking exposes even ZANU-PF, regards of people's lives, regards of the problems that Zimbabwe has been facing over the years. To now then try to tell me that Mnangagwa has only been president for 9 months, how long has Mnangagwa been vice president? How long has Mnangagwa been part of the very same system that put the people of Mbare where they are today? Vanhu vekumbare vakakuhwai mushtaura kuti moto uyu has become a special case. Munotemwa nematombo. Because their biggest problem started a long time ago. How did even the fire start? Let's ask ourselves those questions. There are living conditions that government should have taken care of. Udara, and Mnangagwa has been part of the same system for a very long time. To try to make people, to try to get people thinking because Mugabe is out of the equation, then Mnangagwa all of a sudden is a saint. Where was he when people were dying? Where was he when cholera hit Beitbridge? When cholera hit Chiredzi? Where was he when there was a breakout of the HIV/AIDS pandemic and there was no treatment down there in Malipati? Where was President Emerson Mnangagwa? He was the Minister of Justice. He was the Vice President. So how is he now a separate entity from the very same system that he helped build?
Does council have a role to play?
Let me tell you something now. You see, there's one promise that President Nelson Chamisa has given to the people, and that is the creation of the office of the executive mayor. Do you know what that simply does? That simply gives the the mandate and also the power of executing basic services to the people, to the mayor and the councils. We have a contradiction now where the act itself provides the minister with overreaching powers. A mayor can make a decision today, but still there is a veto power that lies with the minister. Still there is a power to, minister who is the minister of local government? Is he an MDC minister or is he a ZANU-PF minister? Let's get that straight.
I think there is a display of ignorance in what agency is saying. So let me give you some context. In the year 2000, MDC took over the parliamentary seat in Mbare. They held this seat until we got to the year 2013. Now, you have the councillors coming from MDC. You have the member of parliament coming from MDC. When you take the concordance of parliament, the person who's supposed to go and represent the people of Mbare in parliament so that they can be represented at national government is the member of parliament. Nowhere do we have on record that representation that the MP of Mbare got up and raised these issues, or that he pushed these issues on behalf of the people of Mbare. But let me go a step further. Nelson Chamisa has been in charge of MDC. He has been vice president too of the opposition. Can you tell me when Nelson Chamisa went to Mbare? Can you tell me what Nelson Chamisa has responded by doing since the explosion in Mbare? Did Nelson Chamisa go? So this very caring Nelson Chamisa, President Emmerson Mnangagwa stopped his government programs, regardless the legacy issues, because we can play the blame game all night. But right now, there is a problem right now. The fire needs to be put out right now. We can deal with who started the fire later, but right now we must put the fire out. President Emmerson Mnangagwa, as an order of priority, the first thing he did today was to say, an attack happened on my people. I am going there to figure it out. I don't understand for the life of me how this very caring Chamisa, very praying Chamisa, very God-fearing Chamisa said, yeah, but you won't even go and step 1 foot. Why? Because it's not strategic for your votes. You feel you already have those votes. Chamisa is playing a political game. President Mnangagwa is the one who demonstrated love. He is right. The people of Mbare could stone him. But President Mnangagwa was willing to go and get stoned in Mbare for the simple reason that I have got to be there for my people. But President Chamisa was praying for them. He even forgot to mention them in his prayer today. We heard nothing about them in his prayer. He forgot them. He was in Chitungwiza playing politics.
So, Acie Lumumba throws in words like ignorance. I have even more gruesome words to throw in for him. But I'll just say this about him, that he succeeds in saying a lot and at the same time saying nothing. He channels and tunnels in irrelevance. Ask the people of Mbare today, kuti ndiani akatanga kusvika pasite in terms of my political leaders. They'll tell you it was an MDC alliance leader.
Who?
Chamisa. It was Chamisa.
When?
Chamisa, the young brother who's running for MP there. I'll tell you that. So these were the first people that got to the site.
Okay, agency.
No.
Acie has just fallen off his chair.
Yeah. Why? Because I asked you to ground.
Of course.
This is exactly what happens with people in ZANU-PF.
Right.
That they spend so much time in a cloud that is so detached from the realities on the ground.
So Chamisa.
So I am telling you this today, Kuti. Yes, I hear you trying to sensationalize issue Mbare and why Chamisa did not go there and why Emmerson Mnangagwa did not go there. But let's not run away from the very fact Kuti, what the living conditions are and who was part of the system. The very same person who was the mastermind of the system is the same person who was going there to say, okay, what did President Emmerson Mnangagwa say to the people? What promise did he give them? Tell me.
I will tell you.
Tell me, what did he say to the people of Gumbo? There is a video. Tell us exactly what he said.
I am very committed to
Tell us
that.
what he said. What commitment did he give to the people of Mbare?
No problem. I'm happy to do that.
Give us it.
Except you haven't finished telling us the Chamisa story. the younger.
No. But I told you that the MP candidate for Mbare was the first person on site.
Chamisa's younger brother.
His name is Chamisa.
You are watching Election Playbook. As usual, we have two political analysts at each other's throats. That's Acie Lumumba and Agency Gumbo. Right now, the bone of contention is over the unfortunate fire that happened in Mbare. And President Emmerson Mnangagwa went to visit and look at what actually took place. And in studio, we are discussing whether that was enough to win the people of Mbare and whether that is seen as a good gesture. On the other hand, Acie is accusing the MDC Alliance President Nelson Chamisa of not caring enough, although Agency disagrees. Look, we want you to choose sides because we have two opposing sides here. If you like what Agency is saying, press the heart button. If you like what Acie is saying, press the hearts button. We want to know which team you're on. Are you Team Agency or Team Acie? And on top of that, we want to know if you're also from Mbare. Tell us, what do you think? Do you think President Emmerson Mnangagwa was sincere? And do you think that Nelson Chamisa not going to Mbare himself is enough for us to say he doesn't care enough? Acie, take...
And look, I just want to try and put some closure to this and say again, I like Agency for two reasons. Agency will contradict himself, but he will say something that is very true. So Agency is probably right. Probably. That Chamisa's younger brother, who was representing MDC, he said one of the... Did you hear him say one of the principles in the alliance? I mean, I wish you could almost rewind it and play it back. This guy said, one of the MDC Alliance principles was first to get on side. I said, which one? He says Chamisa.
That's not what I said.
Brother.
That's not what I said.
But let's assume he's actually right.
I told you that it was one. I told you the first people to respond, the first people to be on that side
was the MDC principal.
Was the MDC Alliance candidate.
No problem.
Not principal.
No problem.
Candidate.
No problem at all. The
from Mbare.
No problem. So let's assume that this brother is right. So the candidate got there. He just went on about how President Emmerson Mnangagwa got there, made no real commitment to the people, didn't really say nothing to the people. So this candidate got there. Agency knows about it. If there is anybody else who's watching this show who knows about it, please tell us that you know that Chamisa's brother went there. And when he went there, you please tell us what commitment he made. And when he went there, you tell us who knows. So why, since he represents the MDC Alliance, why didn't he then escalate the matter to somebody, even a spokesperson, even a shadow minister of local government? Oh, wait, that's it. You don't have a shadow minister of local government. So there's no way to cascade these two. But if he is Nelson Chamisa's younger brother, Nelson Chamisa's younger brother was first on site. He surely could have called his older brother and said, Mukoma, ku constituency kwangu, tabongozozo. Mangwana on your way to Chitungwiza. Here is the irony of where Mbare is. You cannot go either from Chamisa's house where he lives, or from Chamisa's constituency where he's from, or Chamisa's main office, which is Harvest House, to Chitungwiza without going through Mbare. You cannot get from Chamisa's office without going through Mbare. So not going through Mbare is because Hajina Basa, MDC inongowona, yawona, yon paita moto, yongo fusungo mabachi, yoenda kumba. Zano PF inowona, yo bata kuti zinu sipambe, because Zano PF inogona chitadza but inogadzira.
Okay, so let me sober you up a little bit. Zanu PF is the ruling party. Zanu PF is the government. There are certain responsibilities that are for government, and there are responsibilities that are for political parties. So failures in basic service delivery can never be attributed to the one who is not in government. But they are attributed to the one who is in government because, number one, they are the ones with the responsibility to deliver services to the people. So to try and sensationalize a comparison between Nelson Chamisa's response to the Mbare issue versus ED's response to the Mbare issue is outright stupid. Why? Because Emmerson Mnangagwa is the government. Emmerson Mnangagwa has been part of the government. The problems that I have indicated have disturbed the people of Mbare for a long time are problems that emanated from a basic failure to provide services to our citizens. It's not just Mbare. The problems are there in every town in Zimbabwe. They are there. Everyone right now is crying because of lack of kutakura. You understand? You understand that? Basic services that are supposed to be delivered by the government of the day have not been delivered by the government of the day.
Okay.
Our children are failing to go to school today because we are unable to get the enough or the requisite finances to finance for education. And I'm a lawyer. I don't get remuneration that I'm supposed to be getting for my qualifications of the years that I told in university because there's a government that does not understand basic principles of economics.
Gentlemen,
well, you might just not be that good. I know you are, but maybe that's just why you're not getting a lot.
Gentlemen, I want us to move away from this,
okay.
and we'll leave our viewers to decide who carried the day in this argument. Again, remember, we want likes for Acie Lumumba and hearts for Agency Gumbo. I want to move back to yesterday. The MDC Alliance President, Nelson Chamisa, had a press conference where he stated that they will not be boycotting the elections. However, there is something that he said, and the media quoted that he said he would not accept losing because maybe he feels he is so confident that he will win, that a result that is not a win is not acceptable to him. Now, President Emmerson Mnangagwa was on carte blanche 2 nights ago on Sunday night, and he said that he is willing to concede to whoever would have lost the election. Let's discuss that. What are your views on that?
So, President Mnangagwa is doing the presidentially mature thing, the democratic thing, which is if we go to an election and the result does not favor me, I will allow he who is favored by the result to take on. He doesn't carry the arrogance of Nelson Chamisa to say, no, it's not a free and fair election until I win. It's only free and fair when I win. So according to Nelson Chamisa, I am voting for him. You are voting for him. Agency is voting for him. Everyone in here is voting for him. They even gave the figure. They even gave the figure of by how much is he winning the result. I mean, we even, Tendai BT, who's their master mathematician, told us how much ZANU-PF was going to get. I think he attributed 2% to ZANU-PF. So the election is already done to MDC. Their principal of MDC, Tendai BT, at a rally stood up and said ZANU-PF is getting 2%. MDC is getting 95%, but Mwajoja share na pakatapa. Now, that is so dangerous because it's almost inciting. What do you mean? Like, now Chamisa thinks for me and thinks for you and thinks for the whole set, thinks for everybody watching. What's the point of going to an election then? If Chamisa is that sure that we have won, what's the point of going to an election? Why are we going to the election that he has already won? He has already called himself president. Incredible. He doesn't even have a vice president. He doesn't even have a minister of state security, but he's already here. He is already president. All I read from that press conference yesterday is Chamisa asked to say, kana usingazeye kutamba waungotamba yese kuri dance have you ever been out and kurira song and everybody else seems to know how the song is danced to sakwarira omunye mozo monya you also dance omunye no tabo say wakutara omunye mozo monya omunye because how could you dance so akuita jese that's all that happened in that press conference.
Go ahead, agency.
So you see the lack of depth right there from the presentation from my brother there is appalling. It's really appalling. It's really disturbing. How do you contest the very fact that Nelson Chamisa is the leading guy and is the winning president? And so this is way. You get my point? So let me characterize the press conference before heresy gets into our supporters' ears. President Nelson Chamisa made a commitment to the people of Zimbabwe to say, look, we have issues, we have our contradictions with the governing body or with the electoral management body. But nonetheless, I have gone around the nation. President Chamisa has addressed over 75 rallies in the past 5 months. And he says, I've gone around the country, I've had consultations with community leaders, church leaders, and the basic citizens who are living, in all parts of Zimbabwe. And they have indicated that they are not willing to boycott the election. Rather, they are willing to claim and own their victory through the ballot. And hence, he has given a go-ahead to say, we are not boycotting the election, we are going to the election and we are going to win it and win it resoundingly. Ukaona ZANU-PF is spending a lot of his time talking about the declaration of victory by Nelson Chamisa because they are not confident about their own victory. They know Nelson Chamisa is going to win this, and they know, if you look at the mood in the country, they know Nelson Chamisa is winning this election. They're not even talking, they're not confident. If they were confident, in India, because I'm confident about it. I'm confident about it. You are getting victory in this election. It's because you are not sure about it. Emerson Mnangagwa himself is not sure about the victory. Emerson Mnangagwa is using a visa somewhere right now as we are speaking. Because he knows that come Monday, come Tuesday, State House because he knows could come Tuesday is not president of the country.
Again, so agency says it demonstrates a lack of depth to investigate what this president said. Oh my God. So, President Emmerson Mnangagwa is not claiming the victory because that's exactly what the point of an election is, to earn the victory. You don't earn the victory at a rally because surely, if the basis of your thought concept is I went, surely, the reason you carry out the litmus test of an election is so that people can validate your kuzhisimbisa. I have no problem with Nelson Chamisa thinking he's going to win. He might. This is why we go to an election. He might actually win. I'm glad, and this is why I say I always like agency. Agency ended his assumptions by accurately describing where the error is. Hands in an agency. Inini garanti zote ndilo na kukia Lumumba basipakira. Ndo garanda muza Lumumba ndo kukia basipakira. Ndo na dai Lumumba ajifungo da no kia. Dai Lumumba zoro da no kia. Because MDC party no fara so kukia abantu zayo. Now therein lies exactly the trouble. That agency thinks kunduza ora rakora ndipukuta. Kundipukuta. No baba, kwete bodo. Munokona kufunga kuti munondipukuta mugotaura kuti munondikubukuzvisi mugosimbisana mese muri yese parikana yanzi on your marks yahaka mukaka munozoziva kuti munogona kukiya munhu here maita sei makiyana aungati ndinoziva kuti ndinomukiya amusati mamborovana amusati mambokana mambopushana kana mambotukana amusati matukana but matodecide kuti andomukiya uyu on what basis naye agency have you concluded that you can iyo nyaya yoda kupa reference kurova vanhu inogara reference kudanana imuna reference kurovana chete why do you conclude kuti kurova munhu munamobvira masaizana kana height kana masuru amori kuita masuru kundirova ndine pfuti ondondorova ndine pfuti.
Agency, inini, what I want to find out is by almost saying kuti Nelson Chamisa is not considering a possibility of not winning, does that undermine the democratic process to say, look, if this election comes out this way, then, it's wrong? What I want to know, there's so many first-time voters in this country. Does that not give them a sense of despondency? Should we not be preparing them? In an election, it can go either way.
My sister.
Yes.
There is no possibility of a Chamisa loss in this election. Hear me clearly. I will not want to discuss the possibility of a loss for Nelson Chamisa because a loss for Nelson Chamisa is a loss for the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe have spoken in their numbers, and the people of Zimbabwe are going to speak in this election. There is no possibility of a Chamisa defeat in this election. Hakuna.
Perfect.
Hakuna shakada.
Maybe let me agree. So for everybody who's watching, who wants to vote for Nelson Chamisa, there is no point in voting for Nelson Chamisa. Nelson Chamisa has already won. Those who believe in the process of democracy, who want to give President Emmerson Mnangagwa a chance, who are listening to him, you must go and vote. Because since there is no possibility of Chamisa defeat, oh, don't worry about voting for him. In fact, stay at home. You don't need to vote for him. He's winning anyway because the matter of voting stay at home. Those who want to contest, come out and contest. Those who don't believe in this crazy arrogance, Chamisa has won and there is no possibility. I'm on my numbers, I'm getting on my number happy compared to my number happy. But those who believe in the process of democracy, go and exercise your right. Those who are undemocratic and are dictatorship in mindset and in behavior, yes, absolutely. Stay at home. Chamisa Mnyako winner. Because there's no possibility.
You see, Acie Lumumba always runs away from fact. He always runs away from what is submitted. He creates, or he lives in his own mind. He creates an entire narrative and goes on a tangent. Chamisa declaring victory is not saying people should not go out to vote. In fact, any person who's hearing me today, let's go out in our numbers and let's vote for the people's president.
Oh, why?
But there is no possibility of a Chamisa defeat in this election.
But every time you've done a bet so far, you realize my reader.
I said there is no possibility of a Chamisa defeat. The mood in the country tells you. The suffering of the people of Zimbabwe have suffered for a very long time under the ZANU-PF regime. Not just under Robert Mugabe as an individual, but under a system that is repressive, a system that is inconsiderate of the needs of the people of Zimbabwe. And what President Chamisa has provided since he became a presidential candidate is an alternative, and not just an alternative, but a working alternative, one which people can relate to, one which people can actually say, Onaiga, at least this makes sense from everything that we've been told for the past 38 years. So there is no possibility of a Chamisa defeat.
Let me remind people who like to work with fact and science that the last time Chamisa was put through an electoral test wasn't in 2013. It was when MDC went through its Congress. The last time he went through a test to see what I know elected. And I want to tell you, so that you understand the MDC mindset. He went through an exam, test internally, MDC, against a man called Douglas Monzora. Douglas Monzora could have been considered a lightweight compared to Chamisa. Chamisa agaroa kunge nyoka ya pinda mumba na Monzora. Kuroa kunge muruma badwane mkatsi wemunhu na Monzora. Election. Now, in order for Chamisa to then become president, he carried this attitude. This attitude that says, I am the only winner. So this is why Chamisa is president of the MDC Alliance, not because of an electoral process. He's president of MDC Alliance because I am president. No one here can tell me I'm not president. Dini president. Because I know Jizia. Kutikana ta kuita jinje, chesti chayo. Kupukutwa chayo kupukutwa kunge kumeso kwa katota. Just only for those who like fact and science. Of course, he likes fiction. But for those who like fact and science, I'm not saying he's going to lose. I don't know. But I'm saying it's
So we are where we are today as a country. Our society is disintegrated. Fathers and sons have been alienated. Our sisters and brothers are in South Africa in the mines. They are working in the farms. They are working, in the most disturbing of conditions in other countries. They have left their own country. There are people that they have left this country that we will never see again. We have lost relatives in other countries and we could not even bury them because they ran away from a demon. They ran away from an economy that seemed to swallow them as opposed to empower them. They ran away from a government that was inconsiderate of their needs. So the alternative is Nelson Chamisa. The new Zimbabwe that we have all been waiting for. Some of us have had to live over 29 years in a country that cannot even afford me the basic benefits that I'm supposed to be afforded. We are waiting. We have been waiting for Monday. We have been waiting for the victory that is coming to the people of Zimbabwe next week. So I don't know what science fiction or facts he's talking about. But what I know is that the people of Zimbabwe have suffered for so long to an extent that they are not willing to suffer anymore. And they know where the suffering has come from. We cannot run away from it, and we cannot dispute it. Any person who chooses to dispute that we are where we are today because of ZANU-PF's mismanagement of this country, that person deserves to be Engucheni, deserves to be Kumabenzu.
Do you know that Chamisa lost his last election to Mundwa? Do you know that fact?
So, look.
No, do you know? Do you know?
I was part of the campaign. I was part of the campaign.
Do you know?
So let me tell you something. You see, it's disturbing. It's really disturbing to note that someone intends to make a reference to an internal democratic process that was properly managed. He wants to compare that to an election that's got people's lives at stake. The election on Monday is not an internal election. MDC. The election on Monday is a national election. In fact, the election on Monday is an opportunity for the people of Zimbabwe to provide a solution to the problems that they've suffered with for a very long time. That's what Monday and next week is about. The next week is not about Chamisa losing an election to Monzora. Where is he today? Is he not the presidential candidate? He is. That's what it is about. So the reference to the Congress that happened in 2014, it doesn't arise in this conversation. The conversation that people of Zimbabwe are supposed to be having right now is the conversation that answers the great questions of the day. What are the great questions of the day? What are the great questions of the day? What are the great questions of the day? Children want free primary school education. That's the great questions of the day. It doesn't arise to then try to make mention of Monzora and Chamisa. The two are friends, my brother. The two work together very well. And the two are a very good team, which is going to beat ZANU-PF on Monday going forward.
My worry is, with this type of temperament that is being displayed here, this type of instability, we are so
passionate about the victory. President Chamisa State House.
Okay.
That's the passion we have. That's the confidence we have.
Our two political analysts are very passionate about their candidates. Agency can hardly sit in his seat. All I would like to ask is that show passion by pressing the like button and the heart button. As you can see, this debate is heating up in here. We are just 4 days away from the elections. And if what I'm seeing here is what is out there, it's going to be a very interesting election.
Say it, my sister.
I don't know about that. All I'll say is please go and exercise your democratic right to vote. And your vote is your secret.
And by the way, agency and myself, after starting these debates, we realized we should run exit polls on the day. So we had a meeting earlier today where we asked young people with master's degrees from across the universities in the country. We brought them in. We're going to be running exit polls because we want to be able to update the country in real time. So you will be able to stay up to date with the latest developments on election day, with the latest results on election day, from both agents and myself. We've deployed results, and they'll be feeding into us. So make sure you tune in on election day, and we'll run the exit polls. Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted us to look at tomorrow's rally. Tomorrow, ZANU-PF has got what they're calling the mother of all rallies at the Robert Mugabe Square. Tomorrow.
Where are they doing this?
Okay, I'm going to give it to you, agency. What's your take on that one?
My take, I will not care to analyze or comment on ZANU-PF's mother of all rallies. In fact, I want the people to watch and observe the mother of all rallies on Saturday. President Nelson Chamisa is going to be addressing at the Robert Mugabe Square on Saturday. The crossover rally. In fact, it's a celebration. It will be a feast. So, if you want my comment on the ZANU-PF rally tomorrow, their mother of all rallies, my comment is Saturday, the 28th.
Zanu PF is not doing a bad of war rally. It's just a rally. It's just a rally.
It's a bad of war rallies. We had it.
What's your take on the Star Rally, the MDC Star Rally on
tomorrow? The Zanu PF rally is just the warm up. It's just warm up. We're not doing anything. You know, Robert, anything. Listen, Robert Mugabe Square is too small for us to do about the whole rally there. We're not doing it there, did you? Please.
So what's happening tomorrow? What's happening?
Me, here on this stage, I won't be able to defend you.
You see?
I can't believe this. Anyway, MDC is joking. They're not doing any Star Rally on Saturday.
We have a Star Rally on Saturday. It's the final push. It's the final rally. It is the mother of all rallies.
So can we declare that Harare is the battleground?
The father, right? The mother, but tomorrow is the father. The mother is the other day.
So it looks like Harare is the battleground.
It is.
Yes. There's nothing to battle for because, you know, according to agency Gumbo, the battle is already won. For Zanu PF, we respect the people. We want to keep working for their votes, and we hope we get their votes. But as for agency and his people, they don't. I mean, why? Anti-celebration, a party. They're doing a tea party. Sakuda Musasiwa. Isuzu kwedu tukwitachi viva Lumumba.
Now the agency, there are reports that Nelson Chamisa went to Angola yesterday.
I mean, like you said, there are reports, and I cannot validate those reports. There are channels within the party, there are channels within the alliance that can, provide the relevant communication from the office of the president. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those channels, and I cannot comment, confirm, or deny.
In other words,
what's your take? What's your take, AC?
So in other words, what agency is saying is
what's your take? I allow you to speculate. What do you think that trip supposedly was about?
Last night, Nelson Chamisa was supposed to do an interview on Capital FM at 7 p.m. with Rufeneko Parenyatwa. I'm sorry, with Rufeneko Parenyatwa. The reason Nelson Chamisa could not make it, this is according to the spokesperson of MDC, is that he was traveling out of the country on a private jet to go to Angola.
And the spokesperson of the president said that. He said the president is traveling out of the country in a private jet to Angola. He said that. You said that?
Yes, you said. And I'll give you the context of how he said it.
Okay.
Because I happened to have been at the station because I was at the station at 6 o'clock for the show that was happening before. So when the station was frantically trying to find out where everybody is, Nkululeko, Kulula, Dukula, Izenzo said...
Even you are MDC. Even you are MDC.
So he mentioned that the reason why the president had to rush is because the time they were given by the civil aviation to set off, they couldn't really move out of that time. Now, again, I don't think it matters whether he went to Angola or he didn't go to Angola. He's not allowed to go to Angola. Eh? You can go wherever you want. I think wherever you went, but we can't have a conversation about kurukuswera vanhu mausiku. Kuna varukuswera kunganga, kuna vakuswera kwakadzi vevanhu, kuna vakuswera pama-TV live atiri anaya, vanhu vakuswera kwakasiyana-siyana. Munhu ngaapate paanogona kubata. Because kamandika, zvauri kubata zvinofanira kukubatsira. So I hope zvaakanobata zvakamubatsira. I hope zvinobata uyu zvinomubatsira. Zvamunobata amai pakati pausiku. I hope zvinokubatsirai. Zvinobata vari kumba mausiku ano. I hope zvinovabatsira.
Now, we're always looking at the forerunners, President Emmerson Mnangagwa and MDC Alliance President Nelson Chamisa. Let's have a look at the other players. I mean, we had, I'm saying had because there are rumors that maybe one or two may have fallen off the bandwagon.
Of course, okay,
let's discuss that. Who do you think has fallen off or has given up? Nani Futi. Co-presidential candidates, we're 23.
Kosara boy. Kosara boy, dear. Pablo, what I miss, I started to end up a gate. You can go and Sada. It's because Kosara boy, I got a gate. I got stands. I got to tell a crowd. Instead of that, I got to tell a crowd.
Agency, what's your take?
Well, I think the broad list of candidates that we have for the presidential election shows a maturity in the democracy of Zimbabwe. It also shows a maturity in the intellectual and psychological preparedness of the people of Zimbabwe to grow into a constitutional order. There is we have provisions in the constitution that allow people to run. But at the same time, it's more about your appeal to the people of Zimbabwe. It's about your appeal to the electorate. You know, what gets you into State House at the end of the day is how many people have you managed to convince with your vision. I don't want to talk ill or bad about the other presidential candidates.
Go ahead. Feel free to air your views, agency.
No, because remember, these are our comrades against the system. These are our comrades against the ZANU-PF regime. These are people who are yearning to provide an alternative to the system that we have had for a very long time. So I will not talk bad about them. What I can tell you is that Musue Tuesday, they are going next week, I think Wednesday or Thursday, they will be guests at the inauguration ceremony. And I really hope and pray that even the president, once he's in office, he incorporates them so that we can have an all-inclusive government that allows the people of Zimbabwe a chance, that gives, you know, a semblance of hope, and, you know, that gives the people...
Do you think they have divided your vote? Do you think they might be chipping away at your support base?
Well, you know, they will probably get, you know, a couple of votes. But, you know, this is going to be immaterial to the people's victory. The people's victory is going to be outright. Whatever percentage they get, it's not really going to affect. It's probably going to be, they're going to watch 20%.
Tapa 20.
Mapa 20 much.
Mapa 80. The
election is on Monday. The election is on Monday. The people of Zimbabwe will speak. The people of Zimbabwe will decide with their vote.
This is true.
Well, I just want to acknowledge some of the people who are on our page. We have Heather, Emmanuel Junior Banda, Chieza Tauchira Mavangira. We have Adam Rice, Luri, Barry Lungu. Thank you for tuning in. And of course, we want your votes. We want to know whether you're Team Agency or Team Lumumba. And every night, we shall be broadcasting and talking about the election playbook. You have been watching the election playbook, but before we go, we've just got, I want to say 3 days so badly. I know it's 4 days, but I can get 3 days. Do you think that the voters are ready? I know on WhatsApp, the ladies were concerned about nail polish and so on. Just so that the first-time voters know, if you do have nail polish, yes, you can take it off. Or at the polling stations, at the polling booths, stations, they will have nail polish remover to remove your nail polish so that you can vote. Do you think our voters are ready? Do you think they're educated enough?
I think as ready as you can be under the circumstances, all else being equal. I think they are. I think the voter knows that they want to vote on election day. I think you'll always have the margin that says, I'm still not sure where I'm putting my vote, but I know I am voting, but I just don't know where I'm putting my vote yet. But I think an MDC supporter knows that I'm an MDC supporter. I think a ZANU-PF supporter knows I'm a ZANU-PF supporter. And I think someone who is giving either a chance for the first time, they know that. So yeah, I think they're ready. And I think Zek is ready as you can be again under the circumstances. And I think I just want to say, and I hope Agents agrees with this, that let's maintain the peace. You know, we rebuttal each other like this, but really when we leave here, I swear to you, we are actually friends. Like I know his children, he knows my children. We are actually friends. We don't dislike or hate each other. We just don't always agree. So let's keep the same cordial tone as we go to elections, and may the best man win. Of course, I have my man, he is, but may the best man win.
Agency, do you agree with all that? Do you think the voters are ready?
Well, I think Zimbabwe is ready. I think Zimbabwe has been waiting for this opportunity and has been waiting for this time. And again, I would want to just concede to the sentiments of peace, to say, look, let's differ politically, but let's also remember that we are Zimbabweans together. Whether you're ZANU-PF, PDP, whichever political party is out there, we are Zimbabweans. At the end of the day, it's a battle to provide the working alternative. It's not a battle to kill each other. It's not a battle to harm each other. Let's remain committed to the vision of unity. Let's remain committed to the vision of development. Let's remain committed to the vision of a better Zimbabwe. Our strategies may differ, but the end is the same.
Well, wise words from our two panelists, that's Acie Lumumba and Agency Gumbo. It is okay to have divergent views as we go into the election. Choose your candidate, but do so peacefully. You've been watching the election playbook, and it's just 4 days and the countdown continues before Zimbabwe chooses its next president. Good night.
Goodbye.
Let us show them